Welcome children. Today we will talk about Indo-Pak relations, India and Pakistan relations. India and Pakistan were one single integral country earlier. It was an integrated piece. But later on, as the Indian freedom moments came close, Muhammad Ali Jinnah, a leader of the Muslim section in the country, he insisted that Muslims should be awarded a separate nation. Gandhiji tried to pursue him. So did many of the Congress leaders. Jawaharlal Nehru tried to pursue it. Vallabhbhai Patel, Rajaji. But Muhammad Ali Jinnah was unyielding. What do you mean by unyielding? He never accepted. He said, we want a separate nation. Ultimately, India was divided into two. One is Pakistan, the other is India. Pakistan too was given two fertile lands, one in the east, one in the west. The Ganges Delta was given to the Pakistanis and the Indus Delta too was given to Pakistan. The ultimate hope of Gandhiji and other leaders was such that the two countries should live together happily. If India can't be one country, let it be two, it's alright. But the relations should be so good that the two should be like friendly neighbors. Each one praying the Almighty for the good of the other. But this remained only a dream. As the country got divided into two parts, there was Hindu-Muslim riots. The Muslims who stayed in northern India were getting pressurized to go to Pakistan. You got to Pakistan, no, go there, why do you stay? And Hindus who were in Pakistan, they were being persuaded, pressurized and forced to leave Pakistan, come to India. Lots of them were not able to sell their property too. They just left things what they were and left their countries. And on the way, they were being ransacked. Whatever property they had, they were taken away. Jewelry, the cash what they had. So the refugee problem was something unexplainable. Lakhs of Hindus rushed to India. Lakhs of Muslims here rushed to Pakistan. And on the way, there was bloodshed everywhere. Stab, kill, burn. Trains that were going to Pakistan and coming from Pakistan were full. You have a photo here to explain. See? This is one of the photos of a train from Pakistan then or train to Pakistan then. The bogies are full. People are seated on the top of the train. Those moments were horrible. Both these nations were new nations. How will their finances or the economic system support such a huge disturbance of this kind? So the two nations were born with ultimate guilt, pain. Within, we should say, they were born out of bloodshed. Gandhiji never thought of it. Gandhiji thought, with the sanction of two nations, separate nations, the problem has got solved now. Jinnah has got a separate nation. India is a separate nation. The problem is solved. It did not happen. He said, Congress even went to the heights of telling Jinnah to be the president of the country. Let India be a united country. You be the president, first president. But still he was not prepared. He wanted a separate Muslim nation. India declared that mine will be a secular country, India said. This won't be a Hindu nation. This will be a secular nation in spite of giving a separate piece of land for the Muslims. But the mistake what Pakistan did was in declaring that it was an Islamic state, a Muslim country they declared. Hindus there were considered as second-class citizens. India did not commit that mistake. Even today, we are a secular nation. Hindus here, they live happily. We don't have bloodshed, we don't have violence. Problems may be there, but still, we have proved that we are peace-loving people. Muslims get education, Muslims get jobs in the government departments, they get promotions. They get what any Hindu would get. Equality is supreme for us. We have that feeling of brotherhood. And even the Muslims here in India, they feel they are secure here. They live happily like brothers with the Hindus here. Okay, there we start. Pakistan was an integral part of India during the pre-independent period. You go to any part of history, you feel there was no difference like that. This Pakistan word itself was a newly generated word. Mughals ruled India. At that period, you didn't have Hindu-Muslim disturbance. Rajaputs, they had very good relations, friendly relations with Muslims. When Akbar ruled Delhi, 50% of the bureaucratic officers were Hindus. His army head, supreme head of the army was a Rajput, Man Singh. Akbar was proud of it. Among the jewels, great ministers of his court, many were Hindus. Man Singh, Birbal, there were great Hindus there. Akbar had great friendly relation with Birbal. Even during the freedom movement, Hindus and Muslims did not fall apart in spite of the efforts put by the British government to separate Hindus from Muslims by giving them separate status, that these benefits, they were not prepared, they were all together. In the first independence struggle, Indians, Hindus and Muslims fought together. Maybe the first independence struggle, it ended up in a failure, but in spite of that, there was perfect understanding. The Hindu kings in the north, they all declared Bahadur Shah Zafar as their head. What does that show? But the game was spoiled by the British. It's the British who sowed the feeling of separation, difference, internal enmity. It's the British who started. Division of Bengal. Bengal was divided based on Hindus and Muslims, their density of population in 1905. Congress leaders said, no, don't divide Bengal. The British divided it. After a few years, they had to amalgamate the two together because of pressure from the people. They did not want to stay separately. Even when after the partition, Hindu-Muslim riots were there. Gandhiji said on the 15th, when he was asked to come to the Red Fort, as the flag would be hoisted, he told Jawaharlal Nehru, you go ahead, I have a better job. Gandhiji goes to Naukali, that's in the present Bangladesh now, then East Pakistan. There was bloodshed. Thousands of people were being massacred. Hindus killing Muslims, Muslims killing Hindus. Gandhiji goes to Naukali unarmed. He goes from street to street with folded hands, requesting both the communities to maintain peace. We are brothers. Why do you fight? Come together, embrace. And he was able to bring peace in Naukali by his presence there. He goes on 21 days fast in Naukali. He said, unless Hindus and Muslims you come together, I won't take my food. I'll die fasting. I don't want to see this terrible scene. Treachery treacherous situation in India. What does all this show? The Congress never supported Hindu-Muslim enmity. But these two nations which got formed, I told you, if they had lived as friendly nations, everything would have gone all right. It brought more misery to India. It brought more misery to the Indians. Let's see how things happen. After independence, both the countries became sovereign entities. Pakistan became a democratic republic. India too became a democratic republic. That was just after 1947. Terrorism, Jammu and Kashmir issue and water sharing have become major disputes between the two countries in spite of common historical, cultural and economic ties. India and Pakistan have very much in common. Though we are Hindus and Muslims, culturally you do not find a big difference. Culturally you do not find a big difference. The food habits, the languages we speak, the culture in the house, how we mingle with other people. There are a lot of things which are common to Hindus and Muslims. You can't separate these two religions, except that one section is Hindus, the other section is Muslims. Other than you do not find any major difference. Even the food habits, the language Urdu. Lots of Hindus speak Urdu. It's not a foreign language for them. And you do not see violence between Hindus and Muslims in India as you find it in other places in the world. Most of the Arabian states, they are in despair. But in India, everything is smooth. Besides having a huge Muslim population, there is peace in India. Minor cases here and there, they happen. It's natural. But we don't have major incidents. Terrorism. Now, Pakistan is planting terrorism in Kashmir. They send soldiers getting trained in terrorism. They send them into Jammu and Kashmir, to the border areas, to plant bombs there, to explode. They are the cause. Jammu and Kashmir. Jammu and Kashmir, naturally, legally, it should belong to India. Jammu and Kashmir was being was separate. It was independent. It was independent. But when the ruler there said, Pakistan attacks Jammu and Kashmir, when Pakistan attacks, they wanted to take away, he surrenders to the Indian government saying that we want to join India. And we sent our forces. That was too late. 50% of Jammu and Kashmir had gone into the hands of the Pakistanis. The rest we were able to save. The problem that had risen then has remained unsolved till now. Pakistan reiterates that Jammu and Kashmir belongs to them. India says, no, it's a part of India. How can it be a part of Pakistan? Because each and every kingdom in India had been asked to decide whether they want to join Pakistan or India after independence. When the head of Jammu and Kashmir, the king of Jammu and Kashmir, says that Jammu and Kashmir wants to join India, how can Pakistan come in the way? Okay, Jammu and Kashmir problem. Then water sharing, water of Indus. Part of 3 of the Indus rivers, tributaries, they flow through India, then enter Pakistan. If India builds huge dams, Pakistan will have to run short of water then. India threatens Pakistan that it would build the dams. But still, Indus River is there. They get enough water. So river sharing, water sharing of the rivers, it's a big problem between the two. That too, the population is not the same what we had in 1947. Population has doubled up. Need for water is more. Have become major disputes between the two countries in spite of common historical. We have the same history, Pakistan or India, The history is the same. Culture is also the same. Indian Muslims feel more akin to the Indian culture than the culture in Saudi Arabia or Iraq or Iran, because of the existence, close existence here. And economic ties. Economical too. What India grows, Pakistan grows. What Pakistan grows, we too grow. The northern part of India, Pakistan and India, are covered by Himalayan mountains, and it looks like one subcontinent, one peninsula. Nature says, you both are one, I am not separated. We say to ourselves, no, we are different. We are divided. The dividing line has been drawn. In spite of this division, we always feel this is one country. This is one Bharat, one India, one Hindustan. We feel that. Okay. So far, 3 wars have been fought between the two countries. 3 wars have been fought. We will go in brief because we will be studying these in detail elsewhere. 1965, Indo-Pak War. Lal Bahadur Shastri had been our head, then a war had been fought, and Pakistan learned a lesson. They lost the war. Then 1971, East Pakistan, people in East Pakistan felt they are being tortured, exploited by the Pakistani forces. So they asked for independence. The trouble, it got boosted. People, they started participating in the freedom struggle in large numbers. They raised the slogan, Jai Bangla, Jai Bangla. We want a separate Bangla nation. And ultimately, India had to enter the war. Pakistan got a very strong lesson learnt. East Pakistan became free. They called it as Bangladesh, and Pakistan got divided into 2 countries now. Pakistan was one country, India was the other. Now Pakistan got divided into another 2. Pakistan, West Pakistan became just Pakistan now. East Pakistan became Bangladesh. So Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, 3 nations. But this hurt the rulers of Pakistan. We have got divided now. We lost East Pakistan. Delta of Ganges and Brahmaputra river we lost. Actually, they did not administer that territory properly. They are getting lot of economic benefits, but they were not doing justice to the people there. All the wealth of East Pakistan, that's Bangladesh, before its formation, was being taken away by West Pakistan and utilized there for their projects. That was not liked by people of Bangladesh, people of East Pakistan. So they had to find way out. There was a freedom struggle. They got separated. So that was the 1971 war. Then we had Srimati Indira Gandhi as the head of India, Prime Minister of India. Then again 1999, Atal Bihari Vajpayee was the Prime Minister. Atal Bihari Vajpayee, in spite of poor relations between India and Pakistan, he struggled hard to bring the 2 countries together. He was an utopian. He went to Pakistan. Lahore Yatra, he said, we will start bus services between the 2 countries. Let Indians go to Pakistan, visit shrines there. Let the Hindus from there come to India. Let us be like one India, he said. He himself sat in the bus and he took a yatra to Lahore. But just after that, the Pakistanis, they stabbed us on the back. They took over Kargil without our notice. They had occupied all over the Kargil hill and they were saying Kargil belongs to Pakistan. Indian forces had to go. We lost about 5,000 forces there. The battle went on for about 1 month, 1 full month. We had a very tough battle. because they were at higher altitudes. India had to somehow fight from the lower points. Then with helicopters, we go in helicopters, we kept the artillery and we started hitting the targets there. The helicopter will fly at different heights, and from there we started shooting into those dens in which the Pakistani guerrillas were sitting. Ultimately, Kargil war was won by India. So 3 wars were fought. In all the 3 wars, Pakistan lost terribly. But they have not learnt lesson. They have not learnt any lesson. Still the relations are sour. 4th point. The agreements like Tashkent Agreement. Tashkent Agreement was signed after the 1965 war. Shimla Agreement after the 1971 war. Lahore Bus Yatra was taken by Atal Bihari Vajpayee. Then Agra Conference. Parvez Musharraf, the then head of Pakistan, he was invited to Agra. And Vajpayee and Parvez Musharraf, they embraced each other and said, we will not give room for such turns to take place in future. Let us be good neighbors. So everything was agreed. So that was Agra Conference. They have yielded no result, little result. Little means no result. It's an idiomatic expression here. It yielded little result means it yielded no result. We are in square number 1. We have not made any advance. The bilateral relations between India and Pakistan have been attacked by many more such incidents other than the wars fought. For example, they have been affected by attack on Indian Parliament. Pakistani terrorists, they attacked the Indian Parliament. Indian Parliament is the heart of Indian democracy. India did not take things easy. Then Mumbai Attack. Terrorists came in a boat from Pakistan. They entered Mumbai. They attacked the Taj Hotel. They attacked the VT, Victoria terminals. They attacked the synagogue there, which belonged to the Jews. These were incidences that made our relations turn sour. Pathankot attack. Indian camp, military camp was attacked overnight at Pathankot. Then Pulwama attack. Indian soldiers were moving from one post to the other by truck, and the truck was exploded by bombs, hazardous bombs, and more than 40 soldiers were killed. India did not take it in its stride. India and Pakistan have clashed over years about Jammu and Kashmir issue. Time and again there used to be friction between Indian government and Pakistani government about Jammu and Kashmir. Today, China being an ally, China is an ally, has invested enormous funds in Pakistan. China and Pakistan are together. China is not doing it in order to do any favor to Pakistan. Pakistan doesn't understand. China wants a strong point. It wants a military setup in the Indian Ocean. It cannot come all the way through Pacific Ocean for that. It wants a road built through Himalayan mountains up to Karachi. From Karachi have connection with the Indian Ocean. China has given millions of dollars worth armaments, weapons, financial help to Pakistan. Pakistan has not been able to repay it even. Besides, the economic situation in Pakistan is no good. It's a poverty-stricken nation today. The rulers there, the military officers there, the top brass there, they have done everything from a selfish angle. It doesn't have the right leaders. So, the situation of Pakistan today in the world is a precarious one. It's a highly disturbing one. A day may come when Pakistan may cease to be a country. China has an eye on Pakistan. Within Pakistan too, there are elements which want to tear Pakistan into pieces. The Pathankot region is not quiet. The POK part, the Gilgit part, the Baluchistan part, everywhere there is disturbance. They all ask for separation. They want to get separated. They are not happy with the government there. So let's see here. The economic situation in Pakistan is no good. The army exercises control over the elected government, very important. Elected governments are not being permitted to run or govern freely. The control is from the army. Army keeps the control in its hand. Here in India, army is under the president. President is an elected representative. You understand it well. Indian president is an elected representative. The army, all the three wings of the army are under the president. But in Pakistan it is not so. Army is independent. So, army won't care. Army will always see that the democratic government that comes to power is under their control. Things shouldn't happen as they say. The army exercises control over the elected government. The Pak relations with India have touched the lowest ebb. Lowest point. Ebb means lowest limiting point. You can't go further. But still, India is exercising all restraint. Patiently, India keeps guiding and directing Pakistani government whether they listen to it or not. India is giving advice to them to remain peaceful, to be patient, to exercise restraint and not to get into any explosive situation on the border. Thank you.